In the din of Muktzah, there is a machlekes in the Mishnah and in the Gemara between Reb Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says that Muktzah is also b'Shabbos. Reb Shimon says that Muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos. And the halacha is like Reb Shimon, that Muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos.
Machlekes in Daraisa?
It's not a diraisa, it's a takon of the Rabban.
What's the machlekes in?
Machlekes is if Muktzah is mutar, as we will discuss the details. Rabbi Yehuda says that you're not allowed to handle Muktzah. And Reb Shimon says you could. And the halacha is like Reb Shimon. We know that Muktzah is osur b'Shabbos, it's only special kinds of Muktzah. Regular kind of Muktzah, the halacha is like Reb Shimon, that Muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos. What means, we'll discuss what is the regular kinds of Muktzah. That the halacha is that you are allowed to take it on Shabbos, carry it on Shabbos, and what is the more difficult kind of Muktzah that we are not allowed to carry it on Shabbos. What is the type of Muktzah? Regular kind of Muktzah means that you have something in your house that you wasn't planning to use it on Shabbos. You moktzeh it midaiti, that you are not going to use it on Shabbos. For example, you have a store and you sell their items, and in the middle of the Shabbos you want to take something of there. But when Shabbos came in, you had in mind that should stay there because it's for sale. It's not for your own use. That's the type of Muktzah. And that's the machlekes of Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. Reb Yehuda says you're not allowed to take it, and Reb Shimon says you could. The halacha is you could, even though you moktzeh it. Does it mean that if I have a store for furniture or for hardware, you need it on Shabbos, you could take it? No. Why can't you? Muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos. But this is Muktzah machmas chesoron kis, which is harder. Because if you would have a chair that is in store for sale and then you used it, it's going to be harder to sell it. So it's Muktzah machmas chesoron kis. When you had decided that you're not using it on Shabbos, it's not only that you thought you wouldn't use it on Shabbos. You had in mind you are not going to use it on Shabbos, because if you will use it on Shabbos, you'll lose money. So that's the kind of Muktzah which is also b'Shabbos. But simple Muktzah that you just had in mind not to use it on Shabbos, Reb Shimon says that you could, and that's the halacha. And Muktzah machmas chesoron kis doesn't mean that you have to lose on it $1,000 if you use it. Even if you lose a penny, but you had in mind not to use it, not to destroy it. Therefore, there is a din. If you have a paper, a box of papers, and then Shabbos you want to drink something, so you want to put it under the cup. You're not allowed to. Because usually you don't put regular papers under it. It's made for writing or for typing or for printing. So it's Muktzah machmas chesoron kis, and you're not allowed to use it.
Maybe if you have young kids who destroy lots of reams of paper in your house, it might be a little bit different in such a case.
It is possible, but it says in Shulchan Aruch that simple paper, as we see in Siman Shin Ches Seif Vov, Niyar chol koimed liksivo hu Muktzah machmas chesoron kis, שמקפיד עליו שלא להשתמש עליו שום תשמיש שלא יסלח לך. Usually when you have a box of paper, you're not going to take out a page and to put the cup of water on it. So therefore it's called מוקצה מחמס חסרון כיס. But if it's not like that, it is just that you put it for sale, like second hand, that you're not allowed to lose any money if you are using the chair that you're planning to sell it, but it's second hand, so if he'll buy it anyways. Then there is no problem. As we see in Simen Shinches Shiv Beis, afilu kli shemalachti in Shiv Gimel, afilu kli shehikza eisem leishtamesh beishum tashmit, כגון כלים המכונים ואין דנסחררו, שרגילים להשתמש בהם שום תשמיש, because it's for the sale, it's for the store. מכל מקום, אם אין מקפיד עליהם ולהשתמש בהם, it's not מוקצה מחמס חסרון כיס, להסיר דעתי עדיין מהם לגמרי. It's not לגמרי. You're not thinking to use it, but you could use it. If it's losing money when you use it, then it's לגמרי, and then you mind to moktzah it is a complete haktzor, and therefore you're not allowed to use it.
That would be more like paper today. The way we use paper, it's, we use it as a tissue if you don't have a tissue.
Correct, but usually you don't. If you have a box of paper for printing, you're usually not using it to put it under the cup. So that's what it said halacha is. That's no different between once upon a time and today. It's just a paper, doesn't cost much. But it's made that you wouldn't use it. So when you moktzah it from using it on Shabbos, you thought not to use it. It's a strong muktzah. Your moktzah is not to use it. Not only you're not thinking to use it. It's legamrei. Therefore it's also. Then there is a second kind of muktzah, which is a machlekes between Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda, and Reb Shimon says it's mutar, and the halacha is Reb Shimon, which is, as we see in Simen Shinches Seif Beis, afilu kli shemelachti leisur shehu muktzah machmas miyusri. You have Chanukah, the Chanukah menorah, that you light on it with oil, and it's filthy, and comes next Shabbos, you still didn't clean it, so it's kind of muktzah machmas miyus. So you didn't have to in mind to use it, but if you want to use it, you're allowed to carry it. Let's say it stands on the table, you want to eat there, you take it away. Because muktzah machmas miyus is also machlekes between Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda, and the halacha is like Reb Shimon, that muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos.
So all he says for muktzah kiss is not allowed?
Not allowed.
And then
So far we learned only chitzon and kiss. Now we learn something else. We said that even though the Chanukah menorah is filthy with oil, which is not comfortable, it's muktzah machmas miyus, you still could use it. If the Chanukah menorah wasn't lit for Shabbos, if it was lit for Shabbos, then you're not allowed to use it. Any candle that you light the Shabbos candles, after it goes out, you're not allowed to touch it. If it stands on the table, you're not allowed to take it away.
according to Rishimon, if it's allowed to be moved, it's not. Let's say it's not. It's the menorah. It's not. You're allowed to move it, right? You're allowed to move it for any reason. Only it's for mekayme. How does it work?
No, there's nothing to do for mekayme. You could use it any way you want, because it's not muktzah. But Gufa Mekayme we'll discuss later.
Isn't it Klisha Melach L'Isur though still?
It is, if it is Klisha Melach L'Isur, then there is a problem between the Gufa Mekayme or not. But we'll discuss it separately.
That's why
now we're speaking about the din without the case of Melachta L'Isur. When we speak about the Chanukah Menorah, it does speak about a Melachta L'Isur. Therefore, he says, because it's Melachta L'Isur, but that's a separate subject.
Is it only a menorah made out of cheres, or even if it's a menorah made out of metal?
Even of metal, you're not going you don't like to use a menorah of metal that is still filthy with the oil. But what's the different? They're both mutter.
Okay, fine. But if cheres is mamish disgusting because
It doesn't matter, because it's mutter. What?
In Shulchan Aruch we always speak about ner shel cheres.
Doesn't matter.
An example.
Doesn't matter. It says anything that is muktzeh machmas mius is still mutter. Rabbi Yehuda, you'll ask according to Rabbi Yehuda if he would be answering only cheres or not. But Allah is mutter in any case. So it doesn't matter if it's cheres or not cheres.
But practically speaking, you still have to do with tzarek kufim mekayim.
If it's a menorah, right? Yes.
To be careful, I'm just in my head, I like walked away thinking,
Yes.
don't leave it.
Now, that is also only if it wasn't burning on Shabbos. If it was burning on Shabbos, then you muktzeh it. It's called muktzeh machmas isur, that you really thought not to use it. And if you really thought not to use it, you can't use it. Actually, Reb Shimon says even this is mutter, but the halacha is not like Reb Shimon. If you lit a candle for Shabbos, when you went out, it's still also because you had in mind not to use it on Shabbos in a strong way of muktzeh.
It's interesting because in reality we don't. We always find ways to get around it. You put on challah, whatever.
That's for the table,
right,
but not for the candelabra.
To move it, so we have to
Yes.
pop it away, which means
Right.
even something like this.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can't go around this by saying, I am not being...
No, because you put it away,
You
that when it's sliding, you're not going to use it. So you had in mind to not use it when it's sliding. So it becomes muktzeh for the whole Shabbos. So that's the second kind.
If at the start of Shabbos it's usher, then it's usher the whole Shabbos. Even after it's not lit anymore.
Yes.
Why is Bein Hashmashah so critical?
Because that's the beginning of the Shabbos, and when it's the beginning of the Shabbos, everything starts, so then it stays for everything. But it doesn't mean that because it was osur in the beginning of the Shabbos, you're not allowed to use it the whole Shabbos. That's also machlekes Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda, and the malacha is there is also mutter. For example, you have a cow. It's muktzeh. Balcha is muktzeh. Then it died in the middle of the Shabbos. And you wanted to cut it for your dogs to eat it. Rabbi Yehuda says you can't, because the beginning of the Shabbos was also. And Rabbi Shimon says you could, and the halacha is that you could. As we will see in Siman Shirchav Dalet, Sif Ches, Mechat Chin Nevelo Lifnei HaKlovim, Afilu Nisnab Lo Hayem, Ve'ein Ba Mishum Muktzeh, Mipnei She'ein Muktzeh B'davar She'yiseh Echad Medaytem Mimenu. So why is what's the difference between the cow and the candle? Because the candle, you did it. We call it muktzeh because you did something in mind not to use it. So that's a stronger kind of muktzeh. But the behemoth you didn't make it should be muktzeh. It was muktzeh. Now it's not. So the fact that it is beginning of Shabbos doesn't stay for the whole Shabbos. The fact that you had in mind not to use it doesn't make it muktzeh for the whole Shabbos. But when you had in mind, you put it away, tchiyah b'yodayim, you should not be able to use it on Shabbos. That's the stronger kind of muktzeh that is also.
At what point of say you have a candle that's lit and it goes out bein hashmashos.
I don't remember the details of when it goes out in Bein Hashmoshes. If the beginning, it says Bein Hashmoshes that Knisas Shabbos, but I don't remember if it goes out in the middle of Bein Hashmoshes. So we have so far 4 kinds of muktzah. 2 of them is just muktzah midaite, and the halacha is that you mutter. It is either regular muktzah, either muktzah machmas miyus, that you don't have in mind strongly that you're not using. And then there is 2 kinds that you have in mind strongly that you wouldn't use it, which is machmas chisor and kiss, or because machmas isur, you lit the candle, it should lighten the beginning of the Shabbos.
Is it when Kabbalah Shabbos happens, or is it?
No.
It's so if I would light a candle an hour before Shabbos.
No. It's by Bein Hashmoshes, but I don't remember if the beginning of the end.
It's by it's not only
No, no. All this is by Kelim. The same machlekes of muktzah is also by food. I have a store, a grocery, and there is a kiddush in shul, and when the guest came, there is not enough food. So you want to take some food of your grocery and bring it to the shul. You're allowed to. Because when you had in mind to sell it and not to use it, it's only muktzah. And the halacha is, muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos. Or, you have fruit that you don't want to eat it now. You want to dry it. When it will dry, it will be dry food. You'll eat it on dry food. Then, in the middle of the Shabbos, you decided to use it, to eat it. You're allowed to. Because when you had in mind not to use it, it's muktzah. And Rav Shimon says muktzah mutar.
So muktzah is only permitted if it's a keli, if it's food, what else?
Only these 2.
Like what about like a fork or like?
Is a keli.
It's a keli, so you
Yeah. There's only 2 kinds. If it's not a keli, we'll discuss later.
An animal is food?
A ladron is not a food and not a keli, and we'll discuss later.
Hooked to be a dime. You took this fruit and you put it in a special room to.
That's what we speak, and it's still not muktzah. Unless,
it's muktzah, but it's allowed.
yes, you had in mind not to eat it.
Stones and rocks are keli?
We'll discuss later.
Not to throw stones on Shabbos.
No, if my kids want to play with rocks.
Unless you designated it before.
Unless your kids use rocks every day as a ball, then it's like.
Then it's considered.
As we see, now we'll discuss about rocks. As we see in Siman Shin Yud Tziv Beis, Kol dover royal achille b'Shabbos, ein b'din muktzah afilu ein mit lischero, kigen tmorim, ushkedim, ushar peres, hoim dim leilichum lischero lemokimacher, mutter lechem men b'Shabbos. V'chein, kol mine peres shemanichem eise b'muktzah liyabshon. Then you decided to eat it, mutar lechel mehem kelim sheis yavshon. But this is also a condition. There is a way that this is also, which is figs and grapes that you put away because you want to dry it. You're not allowed to use it till it's completely dry. What is the difference between tmorim, shkedim, and between grapes and figs? The difference is because grapes and figs have a nature that when they start drying, they are not edible. They don't have a good taste. Then it becomes better. But the tmorim, they just dry slowly. So what is the difference? when you put away figs or grapes to dry, the minute that you put it away and Shabbos came, you had a strong wish not to use it on Shabbos.
Because it's mios or because it's...
Because it's going to become mius. So your mind, muktzah is only when it's in your mind. But it has to have a strong reason.
But if mios is allowed on Shabbos, then why wouldn't that be allowed also?
Because you was put it away. Dochye b'yadayim, the Gemara, Lashon the Gemara. Dochye b'yadayim, it should become, in a way, not an edible way. So therefore, either way, it becomes muktzah. As we will see in the continuing of the Siman Shin Yud Tziv Beis.
Why does it say b'yadayim? Isn't it machshava?
Yadayim means that you put it away strongly. You had a strong mind not to use it. חוץ מגרגרס, פיגס וצימוקים, grapes, שאוסר לאכול מהם אל טלטלון, מי שהניחם במוקצה עד לאחר שנסייבשו לגמרי, לפי שהם מסריחס בינתיים ואין ראויים להאכילו, מי שנשתהו שם עד שיסייבשו לגמרי, שכיוון שדוחו עשה בידיים, אין אלה מדם תחיוסון עד שיראויים להאכילה. Because you have a strong mind.
But you can't check to see if they're ready to kill you. You have to...
Only if you feel that they are regular lachil. If it's semi, it's still not allowed to. Only when it's clear that it's clear. Then we have a fourth kind of muktzah, that there is a machlekes between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda, and the halacha is that muktzah is mutar b'Shabbos, which is noilad. What means noilad? Let's see in Siman Shin Chef, Sif Chov Gimel.
You have a baby on Shabbos, you're allowed to hold
No, we're not speaking about that, because that's
Just pointing.
no. Even a cow, when she has a baby, it's not muktzah. We are speaking another kind of muktzah, of neilad. Let's see what it is. He explains the Sifchov Gimel and Siman Sheches, HaNoilad muter b'Shabbos, kigein nochri she'oso kli chodesh b'Shabbos. A goy made for himself a new chair. Yesterday was wood.
it. Wasn't a keli, now it's a keli, you're saying. Okay.
Wasn't a keli, now it's a keli. So it's muktzeh, because you didn't have in mind to use it when it becomes a keli, because it wasn't a keli yet. Mutter letaltelon l'ishtamish bei afal pi shelo hoyo daite me'esbil letaltel lemocher. Is also you had in mind not to use it, but not so much. But he says, Aval b'yemtev yesh lachmer b'neilad. It doesn't say osor, it says yesh lachmer. We'll discuss what's the difference between neilad and other kind of muktzah. Other kind of muktzah is mutar b'yomtev also. And we'll discuss what's the difference between yomtev and Shabbos.
If you have frozen ice and you make it into water, is that noilad? We have ice and it melts.
If it melts by itself, no. You're not allowed to melt it with hands. And that's a gzeir of schite. And that has nothing to do with
But on its
muktzah.
own, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not juice that comes out by itself from a fruit. That's called muktzah because perish shenoshru and perish shenischatu. But that's not. That's a different.
Why are people not going to put ice in water as opposed to?
If it's wet.
Because I said if you make something new on Shabbos, you are not allowed to do it because you're moilid. It looks like a melocha.
It's not a muktzah, it's a meilah?
It's moilid, not mitzvah muktzah.
But it's
And there is 3 things that you're not allowed to make with your hands on Shabbos and Yom Tov because of neilad. One of them is from ice. You're not allowed to break it, make it water. A second, you're not allowed, Yontev, everyone knows that you're allowed to cook, but you're not allowed to use a match, light a match. What's different? The difference is because when you light a match, you make something new. It looks like a melacha that is also Yontev. It's not because of muktzeh, it's because like you do something new. The third thing is, you're not allowed to do something new, is you're not allowed to pull something on you to make a good smell. Because you're making something new. This is the three things that you're not allowed, because you're not allowed to make it. Because it looks like a melacha. But that has nothing to do with the subject that we're speaking now. It's not because of muktzeh. Still, nailed is muktzeh. This kind of melad that a goy makes a kele, because you didn't think to use it. It was muktzeh, and it's stronger than muktzeh because it wasn't even around this kele. There is more examples that he explains. In Simen Tov Tzadikei Sif Yud Gimel, the fourth paragraph. Umau neilad, Dover sheini roi hayem lema shehoye roi mibein hashmoshes. Kegei, kli shenishbar, we spoke about it, a guy made the table. Even if the kele breaks, and today the use is something else, which is a new use, which is not allowed. You're not allowed. And let's see the examples. Kli shenishbar b'Shabbos b'Yom כגן כלי משכן שנשברו, אין נקבו ביום טוב ובשבס, ונוכל להשתמש בשברי משכן כמקדם, אלא איך לדברים אחרים. You have a quart that is for Negwasser, or for washing the hands. And then, during the Shabbos or Yom Tov, became a little hole. So you can't use it anymore with water. But you could still, it's a kale, you could put there the tomatoes. Yes, but it's nailed. Because yesterday it was for water, and now it's for food. So it's something new. And it's nailed.
But you could put tomatoes with it on Friday also.
You could, but it's not made. You're not going to use, if it's made for water, you're not going to use it for something else. And now it's something else. That's an example. Then he says another example. וכן הצומס שנספרקו מן הבוסר בשבס וביום טוב. When you have chickens and you have the bones, so once when you had clovim, dogs in your house, you gave it to him to eat. So now it's a Michael clovim. When it was part of the chicken, it was Michael Odom, because it was part of the chicken. So it's nailed.
What about eggs that were hatched? So, like, eggs that were...
Hatched is a separate subject. Laid means hatched. And that's a separate reason. The Gemara says several reasons why Chachamim was answering it.
Right.
Because Achon Drabe, or because Perish Nashru, and not because nailed. Because nailed is mutter. That's what the Gemara says. So therefore the Gemara says other reasons why egg is also. But this, we say that it's yes lehachmir, as he says also here in the end of Sif Yud Gimel. Linyan halacha, yes lehachmir b'neilet b'yom tov. Not it's also, but yes lehachmir. Shabbos is mutter. That's also machlekes between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. So you're allowed to. So why yes lehachmir b'yom tov? Because the Gemara discusses it, And the Gemara says a svara maybe why a egg that is hatched and laid on Yontev should be also, as it says in the Mishnah, because nailed is harder than muktzah. Then the Gemara says, no, that's not the reason. It brings proof for that. Then the Gemara says, maybe the reason is because Yontev is more hard than Shabbos. Why? Shabbos, everyone knows that you're not allowed to do a melacha. Yontev, you're allowed to do a melacha if it's tzirich nefesh. If you'll use nailed, then you'll be making melachas also in a way that you're not allowed to. So the Chachamim was gezer. Therefore, there are poskimi that say that nailed is also b'Shabbos and Yontev. There are poskim that say that Yontev is also muktzah and nailed. The halacha is not like this 2 days. But since nailed b'Yontev, there is 2 reasons, 2 days that say you're not allowed to, therefore, yes lahachmir Yontev not to use it.
Muktzah also, or not only nailed?
Only nailed.
Because muktzah is only once.
Muktzah is nailed, there is a day that Yontev is also muktzah, but the halacha is mutar. Only Yontev, muktzah, you have 2 reasons to answer, even though the halacha is not like that, yes lahachmir. So in general we discussed 4 kinds of muktzah that it is mutar, the halacha is regular muktzah, or muktzah machmas miyus, or like a cow that died that is in the beginning was asur, or nailed. All of them are mutar b'Shabbos. And we also learned 4 kinds that is asur. One of them is machmas chizor gis. It's a stronger mind not to use it, legamri. Second is that you put it away, it should be spoiled till it gets like gregers v'tzimukim. The third one, you lit a candle, so you made in your mind that you're not allowed going to use it when it's lit. So it's a stronger muktzah and it's awesome. Why is a candle that is lit also b'Shabbos? It's lit for what? So it lights. So the Gemara discusses it. Maybe because if you move it, it may go out, the fire. But the Gemara says no. You could watch. It shouldn't go out. So why should it be muktzah? So the Gemara says a candle is also Shabbos because it's a bossis. The candlestick is a bossis to the candle, and the candle is a bossis to the flame, and the flame is also Shabbos. So we see that the reason why a candle is asur, because it is bossis l'davar asur. You put it away, so you had a strong mind not to use it. And the same thing is also when you...
And the flame's not a keli, so that's why it's not as raw.
The flame is because it's a fire, you cannot allow to do anything with it, and because it's not a keli, whatever the reason is. There's a discussion what the reason is.
The only part of a candle that's actually usher is the flame, not the fuel, not the wick, not the thing holding it.
Yes. The oil has another reason, the Gemara says why it's also. Because while it's burning, if you want to take a little bit of the oil to dip in your bread into it or something, you are making the fire smaller. So therefore it's mechabe. So it's another reason to be also. But that's the reason. But we have also the reason that it's bossis l'davar also. So from that we see that even if we have a kosher thing, and we put on top of it a muktzah, so your muktzah is medaite that you're not allowed to use, you're not going to use it in Shabbos, because you put muktzah over it. So we have 4 kinds of muktzah that is also. 2 of them, Rabbi Shimon Matir was still also, and 2 of them, everyone is agreeing
In
that
what
it's also.
category do you have food that's not yet cooked, so it's not prepared to use? What?
If it's possible to eat it,
But it's not. Food
it's
that's-
not, so then it's not, then you can't
It's
use
But
it.
what category is that?
Category, we'll discuss soon, it's not kele, not food. We'll discuss soon.
It's
So
not-
we
not-
speak,
not
so
edible,
far,
it's called not food.
so far, what is not food, we'll discuss later. So far, we're speaking about muktzah, simple muktzah, and the special muktzah that is also. The simple muktzah that is mutter is either regular muktzah, either muktzah machmas mius, either was also in the beginning of the Shabbos, either nailed. The 4 that is also is either muktzah machmas chazor and kiss, either like you put it away to be spoiled, like Gregor Tzmukim, either you lit the candle and it's also because of muktzah davaroso, bosses davaroso, or other reasons, and regular bosses davaroso. You put, if by itself a muktzah is laying in top of not muktzah, you could pick up the not muktzah and the muktzah falls off. And you didn't do anything wrong because you wasn't muktzah it. Muktzah bosses also is if you put it intentionally in top, so then it's dachya b'yodayim. You make it. So that's the 4 kinds.
That's
That
why
is
there's a
a,
sefer on the tray like the movie.
that when you have a sefer on the tray, then you using it's not the bosses lavaroso. It's bosses laosur velamuter.
That helps for the tray. I thought the tray's miyuchad for the candles.
So that's the difference. If it's special for the candles, it doesn't help. But on the table, it helps.
When it comes to Abbas's Davar Asa, do we at all split up what your intention was? You put money on your bed, not for Shabbos, but for Thursday.
But if you put it,
But you left it there actually.
but when you put it, you had in mind that this should serve this. So therefore, when Shabbos comes, it becomes also. But if you didn't have in mind, you just took it, you didn't have in mind that this is lying over there. You just took it off and it came here. So then that's not. Only when you have in mind. Because the whole thing is only when dachya b'yadayim. We have 4 kinds of dachya b'yadayim. Either muktzah machmas chesor and kiss, either gregers v'tzibukim, either you lit a candle, either you put in top of it a muktzah.
So is that what Talis and Tefillin?
Tefillin is not muktzah. Tefillin is klishet melachtali. So we'll see soon. It's about klishet melachtali.
If you lit the candle before Shabbos, we said that it's also the whole Shabbos even after it goes out.
Yes.
Why?
Because you had in mind it should become also. And since you had in mind, so it's a strong, it's lagamre, it's a strong dachya b'yadayim. So therefore it becomes muktzah.
Does one day Yom Tov lead to the second day Yom Tov also?
No, but in certain cases yes, but we'll not go to that because we just want to get a picture of the whole. This is the kind of muktzah that is the regular kind of muktzah, that there is a machlekes between Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. 4 of them we said the halach is like Reb Shimon, 2 of them the halach is like Reb Yehuda, and 2 of them everyone agrees that it's also. Then there is 2 more kinds that has nothing to do with the machlekes of Reb Shimon and Reb Yehuda. One of them is a takona of Nehemiah. When he came back from Golus, he built the second Mikdash, he made a takona in muktzah. Second one is David HaMelech, or by the time of David HaMelech, they made the takona. We'll discuss this 2 kinds that have nothing to do with the regular kind of which is called muktzah, but it's a special one. The Nehemiah is what it has to do with Klisha Melachta L'Isur. Nehemiah came back from Golos 70 years. Those people that came back and they lived 70 years between the Goyim, and they had to slave work for the Goyim in some times, but they were under the control of the Goyim, so they got lost and they didn't know so much what you're allowed to do on Shabbos, what you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. So he says in Posik that he saw that people are in the fields on Shabbos. They don't know, they're doing things that you're not allowed to. So he made a takona, everyone should know that Shabbos you're not allowed to. What did he do? He made a takona that you're not allowed to touch anything, only to eat. You're allowed to use a fork to eat. After you finish the meal, you're not allowed to touch the fork. You're allowed to touch this knife to cut the food. After you finish eating, you're not allowed. But then they got the idea and they started watching more. So he was makel that you could use a fork and a knife not only by eating, it's not muktzah. And then he was makel more. But at least one of them is certainly stayed also in certain sense, which is Klisha Melachta L'Isur. You have a hammer in your house. The fact that you didn't have in mind to use it on Shabbos, we already discussed that Muktzah Mutar b'Shabbos. But it's a Klisha Melachta L'Isur. So a little bit is still also. What does it mean? That you're allowed to use it legufei and letzer mekemei, but not letzer chatzmei. Which means that if you have hard food or not, you want to have to crack it, you're allowed to take a regular hammer and crack it. Even though it's a hammer made for working, Klisha Melachta L'Isur. But you're allowed to, it's not muktzah. Or you have a hammer you left on the table. Now you're going to eat. So you want to take it away. You're allowed to, because it's not muktzah. But letzerech atzmei, it's muktzah. Which means, you left your hammer in the courtyard. You're afraid, you leave it there, maybe a guy will come at night and take it away. So you want to take it home for safekeeping. You're not allowed to, because it's a little muktzah. So that has nothing to do with the kind of muktzah that we spoke, because you didn't have to in mind to use it. It's a takona of Nehemiah, and some of it, some details of it stayed, and that's one of the things that we're still not allowed to. So you're not allowed.
Still move machinery though.
What?
Tzarech atzmi is still moving machinery. Any muktzah can move machinery, right?
No.
No.
Could you?
Shinui, it's a separate subject. Some people say that if you don't take it with your hands, you're allowed to do, but that is only a certain case by a goy. But in general, what it says that begufei, or with your foot, you're allowed to use move muktzah, but not with your hands. Even with your foot, it says in Shulchan Aruch, don't move it like that. Just as you walk in a way that it will move. It should be derech hiluchei. But we're not speaking about that because there is endless details in muktzah. We are just trying to get the picture of what is muktzah. That's a fifth kind, which is not really called muktzah, called Klisha Melachta L'Isur, and you're not allowed to take it in from the courtyard.
Could you, if you do Mekayme, in order for...
The koimai, if you have it on the table,
No, but your real intention is your L'tzorach Hatzmei.
it says even the real intention is L'tzorach Hatzmei, but you still make it in a way that you're going to use it, you're allowed to. That's what it says in Shulchan Aruch.
Practically speaking, as a Xera, they were not allowed to muktzah as asr, even though it's technically not.
It's not really muktzah, but it's a takone that Klisha Melachta L'Isur, which at least some things were not allowed
You
to
said
do.
even like a fork, you said.
That was that it took off.
That's gone? Or-
That's gone.
What's the difference between Muktzah and Klisha Melachta L'Isur? Like what?
Because Klisha Melachta L'Isur is not muktzah. It's just a takone, because if you're going to be able to use it, you may work with it. So Nehemiah wanted to make sure that you're not going to use in a way that you're not allowed to. She was answering first everything, then a little bit off, and then a little bit off. Still there is something else. If you
Worse than Muktzah? Klisha Melachta L'Isur.
no, it's better than muktzah. But this is much older takonet. It's not Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda, not the Tanoim. It was Nehemiah.
When I was in yeshiva, by Chabring and Shabbos, it was on Shpia, it was his job. Every time he looked around, everybody that held the fork, put it up, is a muktzah.
That's a different second thing that stayed from Nehemiah.
Right, that's what I wonder. What's, I thought it's all gone, that's why I'm confused.
Old gum. The old gum means that you're allowed to use it. A Klisha Melachta L'Heter, you're allowed to use it for anything you want,
Right.
but not for no
You
reason.
can't play with
Not for
it.
no reason. Okay, got it.
Not for no reason.
That's why he said.
The question is, if you want to hold it because you're bored,
Nowadays,
you play, so that's a whole discussion today. If that's called, if you want to play with it, if it's called you're using it for something or for nothing. But if you just bored and you want to hold it, you're not allowed to. So he says the mashpia, so that you're just holding it, he says leave it down, because you're not allowed to. That's Klisha Melachta L'Heter.
So, if not for the Takana of Ezra, a hammer is not muksa. The reason why we don't move it is because of this Takana, it's clean lock. So when Shabbos comes, even if you have no intention of using the hammer, it wouldn't necessarily be muksa.
It would be better if we wouldn't use the term muktzah.
Right.
I didn't use it.
No.
I said it's not you.
I didn't say you.
Yes,
It would be better
yes,
if
yes. It's Klisha
We
Melachta
say muktzah
L'Isur.
all the time, it's not muktzah.
It's
right?
Klisha Melachta L'Isur.
What about a knife?
Same about people turning off the light.
Same thing like a fork.
No, but what about a knife that is not like a pocket knife? It's not a knife that you use for eating, but it's a knife.
But
And
you
use it to open
could cut, you could peel a apple with
I
it.
mean, the point was on.
So it says that you could. Yeah.
Depends if you toil with it.
Is a phone,
Depends if you toil with it.
is a phone,
It's not muktzah for kids.
Yes. Yes, sometimes like a chalif. A chalif you're not allowed to use. A chalif you're not allowed to use because it's muktzah machmas kiss.
is a phone nowadays considered muktzah or because everyone has it, it's only
If it's lit,
It's the value.
this phone
I
right here.
I don't know.
People nowadays go like this, no, it's not, no, it's not. We throw everything under the category of
To weigh
muktzah.
something down.
It's not the category of
Right,
mitzvah.
so the problem is that we say mostly you shouldn't touch it, right?
Yes,
But
but
really muktzah is
it's,
allowed.
yes,
It's only, so we shouldn't even use the term muktzah when it comes to Shabbos.
correct. What? Muktzah chazon
Don't
kiss?
touch it because it's muktzah.
Muktzah machmas chazon kiss you're not
There's
allowed.
4 things we're not allowed to do.
Yes, for muktzah. They are muktzah. But Klisha Melachta L'Isur,
How did you become the Shprach? So what happened that it
Yeah, why do you call Muktzah?
no, called Klisha Melachta L'Isur.
You just redefine what's Muktzah.
Right, we just changed it, that's why.
Let's see in the whole seif where the Rebbe explains Klisha Melachta L'Isur is if using muktzah. Let's see Shin Ches Seif Biyad Beis. Klisha Melachta L'Isur. Mutter letaltele bele zer gufei kein kadum lachter bitvelo. The kundes a hammer to break a gezim. Or you feel a lismer bekelim. You want to put under something. The kezebek bele zer mekemei. Aval zer rakli atzmei. Kein shakli munach bemokem shiore shel igonem misham. Shel ipe veishavmer. שמונח בחמה ויורש שלי יזבקע שם, ואצל טלטל למשום למוקים הצל וכל כיצא בזה, osur, because klishe melachti leisur letzerich atzmei osur. It doesn't say muktzeh. Then there is one more kind, which is called muktzeh.
So you think the Alter Rebbe doesn't use the word muktzeh like Kushal Nachtel?
No, nobody uses it. We said there is one more kind, which is not
It's
muktzeh.
the day of Reb Nechemia that I think causes us to use the term muktzah.
Correct.
That's where it comes from.
He didn't, in his time was not muktzeh. Muktzeh started in Reb Shimon Reb Yehuda, 10 generations after. Then there is another kind, which is called muktzeh.
Did you use the David? Oh, that's the David.
Another kind that is called muktzeh, and it's not muktzeh. It's called muktzeh machmas gufoy. Because Yud wasn't maktzeh it. It's muktzeh machmas gufoy, which means, like you mentioned before, raks. Raks is not a kele and not food. Everything that is not a kele and not food is muktzeh machmas gufoy.
Money? What about a smartphone?
We'll discuss.
What about a smartphone?
No, but people play with rocks. People, kids, they play with it.
We'll discuss all the details. First, I describe what it is. And this is a takone that started in David HaMelech. David and Shlomo, or even before. As we see, he says in Sif Yud Zayin, in Siman Shin Sif Yud Zayin, Dover she'in roye b'Shabbos, hoye also letaltel, av b'mei David and Shlomo ketel lachem.
So it's a more modern.
Older.
Why? How do we know that it started in David HaMelech? What?
Which sif did you just read?
Yud Zayin. How do we know that it was also in David HaMelech's time? So says the Gemara a story. David HaMelech died in the courtyard, in the front courtyard. Shabbos, Shavuos. Why did he die there? Because he was constantly learning, and the Baal HaBovis didn't have any approach to him as long he is learning. So he knew this day he has to die. So he should go out, stop learning. How did he do it? He made the trees in the courtyard should shake, and he went. What?
This is a story called Rabbi, no?
Someone fell down the stairs.
That's David HaMelech.
Similar story.
You saw the film?
That's David HaMelech. So when he heard the trees are shaking, he just went to look what it is. So he didn't learn that minute, and he went out. So the minute he went out from the house into the courtyard, he fell and died. So Shlomo HaMelech didn't know what to do. Leave him like that in a courtyard with the sun on him. He wanted to take it into the house, but he's not allowed to because it's muktzeh. So he went to the Beis Medrash to ask the Rabbonim what he should do. So they told him, in general, you're not allowed to because a mace is muktzeh machmas gufei. But since you have bizoyin hames, so we have a special heter only in this case. What is the heter? Take a baby, lay him on him. So he becomes like to hold the baby, like a regular to hold the baby. Then you take into the house in order to take the baby into the house. So that's a special heter they gave him because of the bizoyin hames.
It's a noilad.
Noilad wasn't also yet. That's Reb Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda 10, 15 generations later. But we see that this muktzeh machmas gufei, which is not a kele and not food, you're not allowed to touch it. What is the problem with the mess? Because you don't need it and it's not a kele.
How do you know it's both reasons? Why can't it be one reason?
There's one reason.
No, you just said both. You said
One reason. You are allowed to use to carry food. You are allowed to carry keli. But if it's not, You're not allowed to.
But how about if it's not, but it's something you could use?
Everything you could use.
How do we know that the mess is because, well, no, you're not allowed to use a mess. Maybe the reason is because you can't use it.
But
Or mias, or.
so we'll see. The Gemara says that it's because it's muktzah machmas gufi, and we'll see what we learn out from that. And one of them, the first thing of that, is rocks in the street.
He's saying maybe there's another reason that wouldn't apply to rocks.
You're saying reason, but the Gemara says that we learn out.
Were the other muksas in effect yet? No.
No.
That's why, because the other muksas didn't exist yet.
The only reason, because it's not, you could use only things that you could use.
It wouldn't.
But you say that sometimes
The Musad of Kreishel Achzalisa existed or also not?
that Nehemiah,
The whole thing is
5 generations
That
later.
didn't exist yet either, that
No.
idea.
Yes.
freaking thing was round.
So therefore, we're not allowed to play with rocks or wood or anything or sand because it's not a kid, not food. But there is, we mentioned before that kids like to play with it. If kids like to play with it, you have no problem. You have an easy way out. You take him and you put him in order to use it on Shabbos. Not only for playing. You want to break something, food, strong food, you want to crack it, so you have a rack, so you bring it in, and you're going to use it to crack the nuts. You're allowed to. Because by putting it into the house for this purpose, you're making it a keilah.
Yeah, but you have to do it before Shabbos.
For Shabbos. But there is differences between things. There is kind of food, of wood, that you usually could have in mind to use it. For example, wood that is made for building. Columns. You could more have in mind to use it. If it's something that you usually could have in mind, it's enough when you think before Shabbat that you're going to use it. If it is something that is usually used for using, if it is something that is not so much used, but sometimes used, then you have to physically prepare it. If it is not at all usable, and you want to use it, you have to fix it a little bit. There's stages in it.
Can you give an example of each category?
I said rocks.
Rocks is the first one. It's something.
Yes. There is kinds of trees that they grow soft, and you could use it as sitting on it. So then if you have in mind, it's enough. But if the wood is for building, and sometimes you use it to sit on it, and sometimes not, then you have to do something, but not, and there's a whole many details in it. I'm just describing the general terms. So all this is the Alter Rebbe explaining in Siman Shin Ches, Sif Ches. Let's go.
Inedible food would fall into this category too?
Yes. Yes, well, and not only. Food that you didn't take Meiser. You're not allowed to use it on Shabbos. You're not allowed to touch it.
Frozen food that's not edible. Well, that was not edible. Frozen.
You could unfreeze it and eat
No, I'm talking
it.
about like frozen raw meat.
But let's say not frozen raw meat, a potato. You can't eat it.
Right.
You're not allowed to use it.
Right.
You're not allowed to carry it.
There's a lot of people who eat raw potatoes nowadays.
Okay, if they do,
Yes.
okay. I don't know if you're allowed to do food on Shabbos.
Something
So a frozen challah is not a chamishna?
No, you could unfreeze it and you use it. It's not muktzah. So what? You wait now.
If you can move something,
Is there a shot that you use frozen leftover for while it's frozen?
to get
I
something
think it's
out of
frozen.
it.
I heard from Robert Schuster right now.
If it's a way that it wouldn't be unfrozen, wouldn't be able to be unfrozen for Shabbos, then you can't.
Sorry.
So let's see, the Alter Rebbe gives a list of what is Muktzah Machmas Gufei. In Siman Shin Ches Sif Ches, and we'll discuss each one separately. Kol Dovo she'ein tiras kli olov. Why is tiras kli? Because if you take a rock and you bring it to the house to use it on Shabbos, it's not a kli. It's called tiras kli. So that's why that's enough. But if it's not even tiras kli, ve'ein machal odom, ve'lei machal behemo, kigein avonim. And then he says ve'hames, because we all learned that out from the mess. Because David HaMelech, as he says later. So now let's speak about mois. Mois is a big problem that I don't even know how to explain it. But mois is muktzah. Why? Because you buy. Buying is not a releaser, because it's not a kli. You don't eat $1 and you don't do anything with $1. You just give it to him that he should give you something over it, for it. It's not called using it. So it's muktzah.
So would a shtar be the same thing?
Same thing. So the question comes, the same thing is also when you have kids in the shul, you want them to daven or learn nice, you told them you'll give you a prize, and they have the tickets that you give them. So what is the difference between this and $1? It's the $1 is not because it's made to buy, and you're not allowed to buy in Shabbos, because it's Muchma Gufei. So why shouldn't that be the same? But people are doing it anyways, whatever reason is.
Are you saying it's the same?
Tell me one difference between them, because it's not kele. Why is it not a kele? Because you don't take the $1 to catch food with it. You don't do anything. You just give it and take it. Giving and taking is not called.
So what do people rely on?
So
I don't know.
Stamp paper is not a problem, all right?
No.
Paper,
A piece of paper. Cutting up pieces of paper.
Shulchan Aruch says paper is muktzah, but I think nowadays people say it's fine because you can use it, right?
That's it's only for Machmas Mechton Kiss.
Paper, a clean paper.
Yeah, but what if you have paper that already has kids' names on it or something?
So what?
Before Shabbos?
No problem. But this, because this you don't need just to hold it. You just need it because you want to get something for it, which is $1. What is the difference between $1 and the card that you get Shabbos in the morning for davening nice? I don't know.
Most was not coins, like.
No, everything that you don't do anything with it. What is the coin? The coin is muktzah because you're not doing anything with it. You just give it to get something for it, which is not using it. So it's not a kela.
Money that you wouldn't spend, like a $1, is that muktzah on Shabbos?
I don't know, that's for Sgula. I don't know if it becomes different. But this, you just give it to use it, just like you use money. So what is the difference? I don't know. Maybe there is a difference.
What about a hagrala? If the ticket is not for to give like money, you're in the raffle.
Same thing. You give him, if he wins, you give him to him, he should be able to get something for it tomorrow. So you're not using.
You get it on Shabbos, a snack or something with the raffle. Does it matter if it's
I don't know. You're not doing anything. It's not becoming a kela. You're just giving it to get something.
In other words, $1, the reason it's also is because it doesn't itself have value, it represents value somewhere else.
No, because it represents, because you're not doing it, so it's not a kela.
Yeah, but the raffle tickets you ask, you're putting them into a thing in order to choose one from the raffle.
But after the raffle, after you win, you get the certificate.
No, because they're all part of the whole thing. Is the raffle the tech?
I don't know about the raffle. I'm speaking about the cards that you give them to get them the
So you have to pick the winner before Shabbos.
what?
You have to pick the winner before Shabbos.
If you daven good in Shabbos in the morning, you get the paper and you get a cake for it. cookie for
Because
it.
is he saying better to use like a real food or something? Give them something that has another purpose?
Yes. And I didn't say you're not allowed to because everyone does it.
Right.
All camps, all shuls with kids, they do it. But I don't know with different.
Right.
Then,
Information on it, so put a, say a pasuk on the card.
but it's not made for that.
No, but they could use it to say.
Maybe.
So then what
Maybe.
how to use?
Maybe.
And the issue is that it has no real purpose.
No real purpose to do something with it. He says, if you write a posik on it, so they could read a posik, like a chumash is also not muktzah because you're using it. But giving is not called using. Then the Alter Rebbe says further, in Sif Ches.
Why is not Teres Keli? Because you're planning to use it for the raffle, and it's something which is sometimes used.
I don't know what you're using. You're using it when you get it, only to get something for it. And that's money, because you're not using it to do something with it, only to give it.
Kids.
What?
But the kids are using it only as money.
No, but he's saying
The kids are using the only value that it has is the value of.
it's a question of
But there's a purpose to the money.
So then use the dollar. Then use the dollar also because it's a purpose. But money, he says, is not a kele. So money means this too, just like money.
The same thing would be like the
Same thing, yeah. That's why I don't know if it's.
Then,
Are there other opinions that say that Moshe?
I like how he didn't say it's also.
no, I don't know.
It's very strange.
I know. I know. That's why I have this question for many years, and I don't know the reason. But people are doing it anyways.
The bigger Shiloh, these money for the kids or rocks in the Shiloh?
I don't know. Then he says another kind, which is Baal Chaim. A Baal Chai, if you have a pet in your house, it's muktzah. So what is it if it's muktzah? Usually you have a pet, you're playing with it.
Most is allowed.
What?
Most is allowed.
That's muktzah machmas gufa is also. And that Baal Chai is not a kele, not food. So if you have a pet in your house, you could dance with him, but you can't pick it up.
He doesn't get harmed. He doesn't want it to. You let him.
Doesn't matter, but it doesn't become a kele. So let's see what are the details of a Baal Chai.
You said you can't lift it to touch.
We'll discuss it. Let's see what he says in Siman Shinches Sif Ein Ches. Osur letaltel behemo echayo eif mipnei she'einu ro'uim b'Shabbos k'shem chayim. It's not food, it's not the kele. Afilu eif she'ro'ui letzachek be'tinek k'shebecher osur letaltele. You're taking a pet and your child is playing with it, he shouldn't cry, so he's playing with it. So it becomes like, what?
Who shouldn't cry? The pet or the child?
The child.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah. And you're still allowed to, because it doesn't become a kele. When you're using it not to cry, play with it, it's still not a kele.
Why not?
Because you're not doing with it anything.
Why is it a stuffed animal occasionally? Why can't a pet bring simcha to the child?
So the answer is that there is a svore that even a ball should be muktzah.
Well, it's an ass.
Teisva says a ball should be muktzah because you're not using the ball to anything. It's not a kele.
Nonetheless, you're not supposed to stop a child from playing with a ball.
But you want to play with it. It's not becoming a kele. You're not doing with it anything.
Right, but nonetheless, you're not supposed to stop a child from playing with a ball.
But you're not allowed to. So Teisva says still
Again, the ball itself.
people are using a ball And the maskona is that it's mutter. Even though, why should it be mutter? It's not so simple. Mutter only if you do something with it, not if you throw and catch.
Doesn't the Alter Rebbe say
What?
Doesn't the Alter Rebbe say Asur l'sechel l'kadosh?
No, he says lichaera it should be asur in Sif Gimel. Lichaera it should be asur, but Teisva says that you are allowed to, because after all, when you play with it, you throw it and you catch it. It's kind of a kele.
Depends which kind.
What? Old print.
The original print.
Teisva says lichaera it should be asur.
He said it's a typo.
Is it in a Paul's Hatfos in the old print?
No.
It's not in the Luchatik in the back?
No, it says in Teisves, and that's what it says in Shulchan Aruch. In Shulchan Aruch, if you have your Shulchan Aruch, take a look at Sif Pei Gimel. Chelek Beis Simen Sheches Sif Pei Gimel.
What about foosball?
Is it
What?
Foosball. Foosball is-
Rabbi, old toys.
What's different?
What is in a ball and old toys? Old toys.
All toys, lichaere, let's say Legos. You do something with it.
What?
You want to just read it for Dalen?
You build.
You read it.
I'll do that next.
Sif Pegel, Asr l'sachek b'kader b'Shabbos v'yamtiv. Lefi she'asl tatloi mipnei she'ein teres kli alav. V'yesh matirim l'tatloi sachek b'y. B'shur sayachid. V'nogu mekedem lahakol.
Teisva says that Nogu Mekedem Lakel.
V'loi micha b'yadav.
V'loi micha b'yadav.
L'meishi yismai.
Like Micha B'Yadam, sheyesh le'em al Meish Yismeichu. Even though Teisva thinks that you shouldn't be also, because everything that you're not doing something with it,
You don't have to stop.
Pei Gimel. Everything that you're not doing with it anything is not a
So
kele.
any other stuffed animal, a toy knife for the kids?
That's including, but it says like Micha B'Yadam, because people are using balls.
So is there something with balls?
Yes.
So it's not so clear.
It says that you could, that like Micha B'Yadam. So therefore, it says La'atchila
Yesh
Osur,
matirim, so no?
Yesh Matirim, and like Micha B'Yadam.
So what about
Right.
pets?
So that means there is no.
Pets, there is no heter, it says Ches, because it doesn't become a kele in any case. Because a pet is not a kele. It's a balchai. What?
What kind of ball did they used to have in the time of Taisva?
Kind of with wool, fill it up, and
They didn't have like a proper basketball.
not the passing, not with air, but with something that you stuff it.
But this is not there. We have, you go to Walmart.
What different? You throw it, you catch it. What's different? What?
It's from a piece of an animal. It's like a.
Not because of a piece of an animal, because you're not doing with it anything. But why should we speak about the ball? The maskona is that ball is not muktzeh. Le'micha b'yadam, even though lichaera should be also. But l'peil, balchai, it says that there's no way.
What about the animals in Tzar Bal Chaim?
They don't do anything. About the Tzar Bal Chaim,
Loi micha b'yadav means you would l'chatchila use it, or it means...
he says you could rely. They rely on someone that says that you're allowed to, and the le'micha b'yadam. That's what it says. You shouldn't play with the ball at Shabbos, because at Shabbos you should sit
My kid throws a ball.
with the ball is le'micha b'yadam. Anyway,
And throw it back.
but he says, Babalchai, sometimes it's Tzar Bal Chaim. If you're not pushing him to the right place, he will go away and it will be Tzar Bal Chaim. So Chapochomim made a special heter. What is a special heter? In Sifa in Tes. Kol be'im ochaya ve'if medadin neise b'shus ha'yochid. What means medadin? You are allowed to catch it, hold it by the throat and move it to where it has to go. Why? Because for Tzar Bal Chaim, he has to go here and will run away, he wouldn't get what he needs. So, Bichlal Muktzeh, you're not allowed even to use. Move a little bit. But here they made a special letter for Tzar Bal Chaim. In general, it's also try to use it, move it, and pick it up. But the pale the matir for Tzar Bal Chaim, you're allowed to use it. You move it only by holding the throat. But picking it up, there's no way.
But this is if it's for its benefit. If you want to get it out of the room because you want the room, you can.
Then that's not tzava l'chaim.
If it doesn't move, you just touch it, you pet it, it's fine.
Touching a muktzah is mutter, if it's not moving it. But, so
That's
therefore,
why I asked, like, there's the neighbor that has a dog, right? And the kids always like to go pet it. And I always say, don't pet the dog on Shabbos.
No, you could pet
So now you're saying you can pet the dog on Shabbos. That's all. That's
you
what I
could
heard.
only move it a little
I
bit.
know it. Just pet it. Little kids, they want to pet the
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
Isn't it the dog?
So you say-
The dog moves a little bit.
You're not allowed to move it.
So
You're allowed
what?
to pet it.
In general,
No.
let's say there is a muktzah hanging from, there is a muktzah hanging of the ceiling. You're not allowed to use it, to touch it. Let's say it was a candle lighting, and now the fire went out, it's still hanging. You're not allowed to touch it, because that will move it.
No, I'm clarifying. He thought you were only allowed to touch the pet for Tzava l'chaim. So I'm saying, no, you can touch it without, you can only move it for Tzava
Correct.
l'chaim.
Yeah.
So the
But-
with the leash.
Well, what about taking with a leash? Taking with a leash, there is no problem, but there is several regulations. What are the regulations?
No, there's a couple of issues.
So what? A leash is like for him, for the dog.
He's dragging.
1 second, you're saying you answer first, we'll see what the halacha is. You are allowed to take a pet or a behemoth with a leash if it's made for it. But there is two conditions.
No, you?
You don't need an erev. Because it's like part of him. He is carrying
Part of the
it.
dog, you know what I'm saying?
Part of the dog, like a levush of the dog.
What's the two loopholes?
What are two regulations? One, you're holding the leash. It shouldn't stick out from the back of your hand, because that part is not for the use of the. So if it's a tefach, you're not allowed to. You have to hold the leash in the end.
Okay.
If it's a leash,
So easy like.
you can't hold the leash in the middle. It shouldn't be sticking out from the back. A tefach. If it's sticking out a tefach, that tefach is not for the not considered as a levush for the. You're holding it in the end. Yes, that's what usually used. You hold it in the end. There's no
And
problem.
even with no air.
Even without
But
air.
there's the leash, right? And you're
Sign
saying
it.
What about a leash in your kid?
Behind it, the other part,
They have that, but
you need it, just so you can start pulling and you can have some.
But you're not allowed to because it doesn't look like part of the leash.
nothing is coming out of this.
Then there is a second regulation. There's a leash sometimes long. Because you want a little bit, you should be able to go.
And it'll drag.
Zips in and out.
If in the middle of the leash touches the ground, you're not allowed to. Because what it's touching the ground doesn't look like a baguette for the pet. So you have two regulations. You're not allowed to stick out. You're not allowed to let it touch the floor.
You also can't wrap your hand, right?
If you wrap it, whatever you wrap it, more, it's already not part of
What
it.
about those the dogs? Ones that have the button, they have the rope is inside. Retractable.
So what?
Better
If
to
it's
hold
part
back on the
of it.
ground.
So what? Yes, they should. I don't see a problem with it. But there is another problem. If you have a dog as a pet, you have to walk it.
Tzava l'chaim.
But then you have to clean it. And cleaning it,
Not in New York.
you'll get if you don't clean it, you get a penalty.
Right, you get caught.
There's no question that cleaning it, the cleaning it is carrying. So therefore, holding a pet, a dog in the house is all complicated. Even your children, they can't pick it up, and they could just touch it.
What if there's an error?
Graf Shali, no?
If there is Erev, we're not speaking about Erev, we're speaking about Muktzah.
No. If there's an error,
there's no problem.
It's not a problem.
But there is, yeah, but why shouldn't it be Erev? Why shouldn't it be a problem? About holding the leash, there is no problem. And about cleaning it, Graf Shali.
It's not in your house though.
It's not in your house, but you can get a penalty, which means that it bothers people. so it's no problem. But if there's no Erev, there's no problem.
Right, if there's an error, like,
Are you allowed, you're not allowed to pick up an animal, but if you're sitting on the couch, an animal
Jumps in your lap,
that's fine.
I don't know, you're not doing it.
Right.
that's what I'm saying, if it jumps in your lap, it jumps in your lap.
You mentioned earlier Lego.
I'm
Lego is made to stay.
You know, like
You can't build on Shabbos, right? The kids.
Kids could build because it's not made to stay.
No, but if somebody that can buy, you go to build this, the White House and say
There's a problem. There's a problem. But even without it, you should never do it.
Can I take these apart for myself?
No, not on Shabbos.
Not Shabbos, you can't.
Because it's called Beine, even Lizman, you could stay. So it's called a little bit Beine. And there is a discussion, and the solution is, in all the poskim they say, let your children do it, but you don't do it. Because it's Beine, even you're planning to not leave it, but it's Beine, it could stay. So it's a little bit Beine, so you shouldn't do it.
I think though also for kids, sometimes you buy a set, the $100 set, they build it, and it never gets destroyed.
So then there is a problem. Then there is a problem.
Young kids as a general rule, they're not building it from
My son, my 5-year-old son, he knows.
if it's a collector thing, then they save it, but if it's not, then I bought a car, one of these like,
Well, he builds like a month, then he does it again.
and now we were told not to do it Shabbos because this, you're gonna keep it forever, so, yeah.
Okay, we're going to finalize with one more kind of Muktzah Machmas Gufi, which is more regular, and it's negate to know that, which is, it says in Shulchan Aruch that if you have nuts, and you break it open, and you eat it, the shells are Muktzah, because you can't eat it, and they're not a kela. All pills we take off from the table, we put it in the garbage. There's no problem with it. Even though
Orange peel, banana.
orange peel,
Yeah.
banana peel,
Eggshell.
there is a eggshells, but there is a difference between oranges and bananas, and there is a difference between bananas and eggshells.
We're strict, the Algebra was strict on this, interesting. Not everyone.
Well, no, it's a din Shulchan Aruch. The shell, the Rebbe says we shouldn't break the nuts, because then you'll be over on Muktzah. But if it's already, there is no question that din Shulchan Aruch, that's the Muktzah. That's not Al Rebbe's Chiddush, that's a din Shulchan Aruch.
The Algebra says we don't eat nuts that have peels.
But there is a problem even if it is pills of oranges. It's not simple.
Why?
Because you're not eating it,
It's edible though.
An animal will.
an animal will eat it. So you are allowed to use it if there is animals in your house.
Even if you don't have an
So you're
animal.
saying we should have.
That's what you say.
That's what I
Shulchan Aruch doesn't say so. Everyone agrees that it's like we have animals.
Right, yeah. So
But the Shulchan Aruch says only if there are animals.
What do you mean, mice?
And it's not like a
Mice.
graf shel to eat?
What?
It's not on your table, it's not a graf shel to eat?
No,
Eat the table?
no. Graf shel Rei means the sandwiches that you use with your speichts, that becomes graf shel Rei. That's what it says in Gemara, the graf shel Rei. But the pills of the nuts, it says in Shulchan Aruch that you're not allowed to take it off that.
The orange pill's on the table.
A orange pill, if you have animals that would eat it, that could eat it, even if they don't eat it, if they could eat it.
I personally use orange pills in certain drinks.
Okay, so therefore I said there's a difference between orange pills and bananas. Bananas you wouldn't eat,
I wouldn't eat.
but the rodent may eat it. But if you don't have dogs, but anyways, everyone decides that today everything that an animal could eat, it's okay. But they can't. I don't know why.
Even if you're
I said there's things I don't know why.
There's a
But
possibility
people,
for an animal to come over. Your neighbor has a dog. They might.
yes, maybe.
It says there's a.
Yes,
there's
yes.
But eggshells, animals don't eat.
But eggshells they don't eat.
You have to do it over garbage, you know?
So the best thing is to do it over garbage. but people are doing it even without. And what do we do if we have egg shells on the table? So you're not allowed to take it in.
Are samishkas counted as nuts?
Is there a way?
Yes, but it's worse. But there's a header. It's because it's it's graf shelrei, because it's ugly.
You could eat worse? You could eat them on Shabbos?
What? I don't know if you throw it away.
Oh, is there a way? I know people that like them on Shabbos.
Because they eat it and they throw it. They don't leave it on the table. If it's on the table, they have to do only because.
Why do you use them after Shabbos?
So there's a way.
What?
Why do people use them after Shabbos? Banana peels and the eggshells.
It's in that.
Some people use it as compost, to put back in they ferment, they put it back into the ground.
I don't know.
If you want to eat samishkas on Shabbos, it's fine.
So it's not the tree.
So what do people say? The Alter Rebbe said that you're not supposed to on Shabbos.
And nuts. Because you're not allowed to break nuts because that becomes. It's not ugly when it's on the table. You're not allowed to take it off from the table. What do we do if we have nuts, shells of nuts on the table? So it says that you have on the table not only shells, you have other things. That things is not muktzah. Let's say you ate bread and some pieces of it stay on the table. So you could take it and put it in the. So you take the whole tishtach, you take it with this too, but not this itself.
What about samishkas is not nuts? That's what I want to know. What does that mean?
It's not nuts because it doesn't stay on the table, and if it stays on the table, it's ugly. And if it's ugly,
Pistachios are also ugly.
you're not allowed to do it on Shabbos because you're not allowed to do graf shelrei on Shabbos.
Something ugly can't be on the table?
You are allowed.
Still an invitation to my house.
So am I allowed to have samishkas or not?
Yeah, just throw it away.
Just throw it away. So.
If you leave it on the table,
Throw it away.
yes.
Eat it over a trash can.
That's what it says in Gemara.
What about pistachios? Why not pistachios then?
Pistachios, it's not, you're not taking it. It's like nuts.
An eggshell, put a napkin, put a plate on the table, do it onto that plate, and then
What are we saying? I always thought that
It's not graf shelrei, it's ugly,
fall in the category of like nuts.
so it's not graf shelrei. Only what's ugly is graf
Okay,
shelrei.
but so you can't shell can't take the eggshell onto the plate.
If you do it, there's other things on the table, which is not muktzah.
No, I'm saying here's the plate, the new plate. I want to take the food out and peel onto the plate.
I eat this.
You're not allowed to.
You ever had
Because the Rebbe says, if you take it, you can bring the garbage can here and take your knife. So you're not allowed to, because it's just like
You expect a little bit of blood, it's worth it.
it's not
get a
kalahiyah.
lot more calories.
So
Yeah, Davis seeds is 1 gram calorie.
Thank you very much.
Blood in the story.